Hey guys, welcome back to the JPM Performance Channel. You guessed it, once again, time for a shop tour, and we are inching our way towards the runoffs. So basically, we'll have next week's shop tour, and then two more shop tours after this one, and then I'm leaving Thursday afternoon after I get Bill Hingston and Paul Jensen dynoed in 2 weeks. I can't believe it's only 2 weeks away. Then I have to get partway up to the track because Friday afternoon I'm meeting John Brackey and Tom Campbell about an hour south of the racetrack to dyno their 2 cars and tune their cars. So lots to do in the next couple weeks, but I'm actually looking really good. So I've got some projects that I kind of thought might have to wait until after the runoffs, but I'm kind of chipping away on them. So a couple of interesting things. So something I've never done before. So this is a differential out of a BMW. So this is like an E90 series differentials. And I've never done one of these, but it's really interesting. And the reason it's interesting is because the bearing races come in from the outside. You can see that there. And there are snap rings. You can buy a 10-pack. So the guy that I'm building this for, he didn't buy the 10-pack of different thicknesses, and he didn't buy it because it's like $300. But the interesting thing about this is you put these snap rings in, and they're different thicknesses, and it moves the limited slip side to set your backlash, and it also sets your bearing preload. So you've got these big honking snap rings. Look at the size of these things. So I actually ended up buying, I borrowed a set of these. Look at these. That there is a snap ring plier. So these things you can get in here. And it actually locks it so you can slip it in there. So I was trying to do it with my regular circlip pliers. You can imagine how well that went. So I actually know a buddy that's got a shop in town and he let me borrow this. So pretty cool. I'm trying not to kill myself while I'm undoing this. So waiting on the circlip kit, but we've got a really nice limited slip that we put in here. This thing's going to be good to go once I get that set up. So really interesting. I hadn't seen that style of adjustment before. I think it's pretty cool. I mean, leave it up to the Germans to always do things differently, of course, but that's a pretty cool way of doing it. So kudos to them. Just starting working on, you just caught me pulling the bell housing off of this Miata transmission. So this may be a little tidbit that some of you probably don't know about. So what I'm doing here, this is actually a Quaife close ratio transmission out of a Miata. What I have here on the ground is an RX7 5-speed transmission, just a core. Tip to tip, they're almost identical. Splines are identical, main shafts are identical. You just have to do a modification on the input shaft. You have to shorten up the input shaft for use in an RX7, but all you have to do is transfer the tail housing, the bell housing, and the shift rod ends in the back here, and you can put rotary tail housing, bell housing together with an input shaft modification straight into your RX7. So it's a good way of, back in the old days, people were doing this, just Miata gear sets into RX7s, make them a little closer ratio. This is actually a Quaife close ratio, so it's even better than that. And actually, this is for Paul Peneider, who some of you probably know owns my first-gen RX7, my Tom Thrash tribute car. So he, I think, is not getting along with the dog ring transmission in the car so much, and so we ended up purchasing this from Steven Simons. When Steven put in his dog ring transmission, it's kind of an interesting cycle how trainees come and go and person to person, place to place. So anyway, that's what I'm working on here. We'll get that rocking and rolling. Also something I kind of figured I wouldn't get done until after the runoffs, but I'm looking good. So I've got Ken's spare engine. As you saw, it was on the bench last week. It is packed up into its engine crate, ready to go to the runoffs as a spare. His transmission's here. I've got his ledger book. So I'm sure we've talked about these ledger books in the past because I always use these constantly. But I have a ledger book for every car that I work on that I'm taking care of, and inside here is everything. All my info from all the weekends, notes, setup sheets, to-do lists, all of it goes into here. So that is ready to go there, and so we're working on that. Did get the little side pocket Miata done. Not a big deal. Got the differential installed and got the motor mounts installed, and I think he's going to like it a lot more because it's more like stock motor mounts and all that. Plus, went from a 4.3 to a 4.10 rear end, which will give him a little better cruising speed. Less RPMs, and at the same mile an hour down the highway, going from a 4.3 to a 4.10. Anyway, just waiting for the transport company to pick it up. I expect it to be gone probably this afternoon or Friday. We'll see. Not 100% sure. So last week we talked about the RX7, right? So here's our RX7. I imagine that most of you saw the ad. So John actually did me a solid and got it up last Friday night. We had about 600 views overnight, and then Saturday morning, about 8 o'clock, I put up the ad for the RX7, and it was sold at about 11:15. So 3 hours, 15 minutes. That might be a new record. Not sure. But really happy to where it's going. I'm not going to tell you where it's going because that's not my job. But I'm really happy about where it's going, and I've kind of condensed it here a little bit. I don't think it's going to be picked up until after the runoffs, but what a beautiful car. If you didn't get the chance to watch the ad, it's still up on the channel. It's about 40 minutes long. That's how awesome I think this car is. But if you're interested in some of the details on this RX-7, look it up on the channel. Just came out last Friday night. So, cool. Ken Kennard's car. So, it is 100%, well, not 100%. Got a little bit of wrap to do, but the rest of the car is done. Completed the corner weight and alignment for the runoffs. Got it onto the dyno. Broke the transmission in. Man, it shifts good. These transmissions are really looking good. The setup on the car is really good. Got it all cleaned up. And one of the things that I always like to talk about, especially if you're running what I like to run, which is a total loss system. What does total loss mean? It means we don't have an alternator. What that means is you have to be really good about your battery maintenance. So that means having a good battery charger and keeping your battery maintained at all times. So even though we're a couple weeks away from going to the runoffs, I'm going to keep Ken's battery charger on the battery probably a couple days every week just to keep it maintained and keep it up. Batteries do not like to go all the way down because they never seem to come all the way back up. So in case you leave your master switch on or something like that, we're kind of just sitting here trickling on the battery. But man, the car looks beautiful. I couldn't be happier with where we're at right now on that. So after I'm dealing with this transmission and this differential back here, 2 engines in crates still that need to come out. These are obviously winter projects, but never know. I might, in the next 2 weeks, I might get a chance to kick into that. So we'll see. Mazda 2 update. You can see I've got her covered up because I'm basically just keeping the dust off. You know, even though I keep my shop really clean, I mean, cars still get dusty, right? So I kind of got it all cleaned up. Trying to keep the dust off of it because it's basically done. I'm digging into the transmission here. I'm just kind of getting started. I had to do, if you remember, you saw I had to do a little fender flare work, little body work on the right rear door over here from the June Sprints extracurricular activity. Got that all completed. So I'm just now digging into the transmission, which is basically my last thing to do besides tires. So I'm starting to get a little bit nervous about my tire situation. I don't have tires for the runoffs yet. You can see I've still got my old tires mounted here. I'm not pulling them off yet until I have my new tires. The particular size that I run, which is the 215 in a 15-inch wheel were supposed to be made right after Labor Day. I think they had about a week delay, so I'm hoping to see them next week. I think I probably said that last week, but I'm hoping to see them next week. Because as you know, if you've been watching these shop tours, I like to mount and balance all my stuff over here, not at the track. So I'm going to chip away on the transmission while I'm waiting on tires, and then I've got my trailer to-do list, which I'll start in on this weekend, which I suggest you do as well. Start chipping away at your trailer. And what does that mean? Checking your wheel bearings, checking your tire pressures, checking your wheel lug torque, right? Sometimes you got batteries you need to charge in your trailers, pit vehicles, whether it's a golf cart, scooter, whatever. I was actually talking to Ken Kennard just a little bit ago, and he reminded me that his scooter that's in his trailer out back needs to go on a trickle charger. So we get this done, I'm going to go out there and hook up the trickle charger to his scooter out there so it's ready to go. But yeah, so 2 weeks. Hard to believe it's already here. It seems like the older I get, the faster time flies, but super stoked to get to the runoffs this year. Hoping for some great weather. It's really starting to feel nicer here in Topeka. I mean, it was in the 40s this morning. We have been getting up into the 80s, but I'm betting by next week we start looking at the extended. Next thing you know, we're going to be seeing 70s. Next thing you know, we get back from the runoffs, it's in the 60s for highs. So we are in fall. So hope you guys are doing good on your race prep for the runoffs. If you're going, if you're not racing at the runoffs, I hope that you come by and stop and visit with me. I will be in the Mazda area, which is on the inside of turn 14. So when you come under the tunnel, when you're coming into the track, you're going to go up. We'll be about 2 rows down to the left, about halfway in. Stop by, say hi, come check out the Mazda 2, and obviously check out the sessions and the races. It's obviously, I've said it a million times over the years, my favorite time of year is the runoffs. So, and it looks like this may be our last year of having it a whole week long. I know there's a lot of different opinions about the length of the runoffs. I personally like how long they are, but what can I say? That's just the way I am. Maybe I'm in the minority. But either way, we're going to looking forward to a great runoffs. Keep after it. I'll see you next week. Hopefully we'll have some more updates and more fun stuff we're doing. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great rest of your week. Take care.